Well, it was a resounding yes to a Costco haul video.
People love Costco.
So we're going to show you what we bought on a recent trip to Costco, what our Costco staples are that we always get from there, and some things that we used to buy from Costco, but we don't anymore. In our previous video, you saw a little grocery run that we did to our local grocery store when we first moved into our new home. So there were some convenience items in there that we don't typically buy, but we did highlight the Flash Food app, which is a great money-saving tool where you can buy some discounted food. You're helping to divert food, perfectly good food, from the landfill. But a Costco trip does not usually feel like a cost-saving endeavor.
No. If you've been following us for a while, you know that Catherine meticulously prices out the differences of all ingredients and all of our dishes.
I always compare the cost of our ingredients from Costco versus our local grocery store to see if a Costco membership is really worth it. So what do we, as two predominantly whole food, plant-based eaters, buy at Costco if you're not buying meat, fish, cheese? Is it worth it? It is. And most of our pantry staple ingredients come from there. Nuts, seeds, grains, spices, baking supplies, oils and vinegars, plus a decent amount of our fruits and vegetables.
Let's start with the fruits and vegetables.
So we still get the majority of our fruits and vegetables from our local grocery store. One reason is that although we eat all plants, the Costco size of things is still sometimes a little too much for just the two of us. Two is that pretty much all of the produce comes wrapped in plastic, which we try our best to minimize as much as we can. So a toss-up for Costco with us is that most of the produce is organic. So we're paying less for organic produce, but the toss-up is that everything's individually packaged in plastic.
Yeah, not great.
And if we can get produce from our local grocery store, then we can bring our reusable mesh bags. Third is that the produce section is where we will typically find prices that are actually a little higher than produce at our local grocery store. But there are some exceptions to this. One are these medjool dates.
We love medjool dates.
We do, and we have them as a snack here right now. You've seen us snack on these all the time. These big, juicy, caramelly dates. You can put some peanut butter or almond butter inside. Maybe you put like a full nut inside. It's like even more crunch. Maybe some chocolate chips in here. And these are our favorite little kind of like post-dinner, right now post-lunch dessert. And it just kind of like quenches that dessert craving.
I couldn't wait.
Often seasonal produce, there will be good specials on. So we got these two big butternut squash for $5.50, so less than $3 each. And actually on another trip as well, oh, I have one here.
In the meantime, I don't know, do I know a joke or anything?
There were two of these, huge kabocha squash for $3.99.
We
two
love
of these.
And we love kabocha squash. We have a video on how to roast it, how to slice it, and it has a kabocha squash curry. Catherine's been working on a kabocha squash soup. It's not out yet.
Like an orzo salad.
Oh yeah, the salad's been really good. Maybe that'll come out soon.
Yeah, so your seasonal produce, that's usually steal. Mushrooms, we always get a big container, 1.5 pounds of mini Bella mushrooms for $5.99.
And mushrooms can be expensive at a grocery store sometimes. So yeah. Costco mushrooms are great. Also a little side note here, because you were saying a seasonal produce at Costco. Sometimes different Costcos have different things.
They do.
We've found. And even like Costcos that are kind of close together to each other have different things. So use that membership. Go to all your Costcos. Look around. Spinach. We also typically buy spinach.
And we usually buy two because again, they're bigger, but we'll freeze one. And that can go into smoothies and we just freeze it and throw it into pastas, soups. Root vegetables are also often worth it from Costco if you can get through the humongous bags. So usually we still buy root vegetables from our local grocery store just because there's so many. Things like onions, garlic, ginger are often worth it from Costco as well. And on this trip, we bought ginger. It actually was a little higher in price than we typically pay for ginger, even at Costco, but it was in a recyclable like cardboard box.
Big win.
We just want to support those efforts to minimize the plastic packaging when we can. So we picked up the ginger and we always freeze ginger. That box of $10 ginger is going to last us months and months and months because we just take the whole roots, put them in a freezer safe bag, and then every time you need some, you just grab it out of the freezer.
We also get bell peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes, all those sorts of things. Those aren't root vegetables. What are they called? Just vegetables?
Some of them are actually fruits, but we call them vegetables, right? Like zucchini, I always say that's a vegetable, right?
Yeah, weird.
Technically a fruit.
There must be more fruits than there are vegetables.
I think so. But those are sort of like one-offs. Oftentimes they're less expensive than the grocery store, so we'll get them there. Sometimes we get them at our local grocery store. But it's just good to, like Brian said, you go to Costco, different days of the week, different Costco's, they'll have different items, different sales.
It's like a fun little game.
Yeah, and same goes, speaking of fruit, things like apples, oranges, pears, peaches. We sometimes get those depending on the cost, but usually for fruit, we head to the freezer section.
And that's a way better deal.
Yeah, we always get frozen berries from Costco. A lot of the times they're organic, and because they're frozen, we can get through those big bags, and we use them for our smoothies, for our baking.
Put them in our oatmeal.
Yeah, our oatmeals every morning.
Yeah.
And we used to think that frozen fruit and vegetables weren't as good as fresh produce, but since then we have learned that if produce is intended to be frozen, then it's actually picked at its most ripe point. It's flash frozen. So by the time you eat it, you're most likely eating a fresher product than the fruit that was picked, packaged, shipped, sat on the grocery store shelf, sat in your fridge for a few days, and by the time you go to eat it, it's maybe not actually as fresh as the frozen fruit or veg that you bought. Don't shy away from it. Still perfectly good. For frozen vegetables, we pretty much always pick up corn kernels.
Yep.
Usually we don't get like there's frozen broccoli and cauliflower. I typically find those for a lower price at the grocery store. If you're someone who doesn't have a ton of time to cook and you want to cut down on all of the prep time of chopping vegetables, a great way to get more diversity into your curries, stir fries, your soups is to buy frozen vegetable mixes. And it'll be so much quicker than trying to shop for everything individually, trying to chop everything individually. Just toss those in, and that's a great bit of veg.
Edamame. We cannot forget about edamame. Did you point at me for?
No, it's a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one.
I say, edamame is something that we always get from Costco, and we couldn't find it when we lived on Vancouver Island. None of the Costco's there had frozen edamame, but they had it in Ontario before we left for BC. Now that we're back, Ontario's producing again. And edamame is fantastic to have in our freezer for every time that we order sushi. We skip ordering the edamame and we just defrost one of the little, they're like individually portioned bags.
Pairs well with mac and cheese too, if you've watched our previous video.
It's a great snack. It's a great bit of protein. Every time we make an Asian-inspired meal, we can defrost some edamame. So that's a really handy one and like a fun snack to have on hand. Usually near the produce, you'll find a bunker with tofu, and we always buy tofu from Costco. We also buy it from our local grocery store because we eat a lot of tofu.
And it goes on sale often.
Yeah. This package of 4 blocks of tofu was $7.49, so less than $2 each. And the thing about tofu from Costco is that we do buy silken or soft tofu, we buy medium tofu, we buy smoked tofu, but we've never found anything other than firm or extra firm tofu at Costco.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? Like maybe Costco doesn't know there's other tofu.
Maybe not. Maybe Costco, there's other kinds of tofu. Get on it. Go to your suppliers.
Mr. and Mrs. Costco. Somebody's got to tell. Maybe they just don't know. Somebody's got to tell people.
Yeah. You won't find much diversity, but you will find your versatile firm tofu, extra firm tofu at Costco, and the price is worth it. Oh yeah, and usually, sometimes I feel like we used to find it by like cheese, but lately it's been beside
I found it by the milk, right before you go into the dairy section.
Oh, and sometimes it's by like the samosas and spring rolls and some like packaged
meats,
stuff.
And packaged meats.
And sometimes some of those samosas and spring rolls are plant-based.
Yeah.
So if you've been shopping for a really long time and you're like, what am I gonna make for dinner? Because usually on grocery days, we end up eating out. Why does that happen? I think you're just so tired from grocery shopping that you're
so
like, I can't think about anything else. We just need to order food. So you pick some of those up. Some things from around the section on the periphery of the produce area that we used to buy that we don't anymore is hummus, because we always now just make our own because it's very simple to make and it is more cost effective to make it than to buy it. And another thing from here was roasted beets. So they sell, when we first started cooking with beets, we would buy these vacuum sealed, peeled roasted beets, and they're super convenient to use. And again, once we got used to eating beets and how we could eat them, we just started buying them. and we roast a big pan of them all at once, and then they last in your fridge for, at least 4 days. Usually you can push it to maybe about a week. We use them in all kinds of different recipes, or we freeze them and we put them in like smoothies, soups, blend them into pasta sauces. But if you want some really convenient beets that you don't have to get your fingers stained from, then check those out.
Next up from Costco, something we always get is plant milks, both shelf stable and fridge stable.
Refrigerated.
Refrigerated, is that the word? Okay. I was like, is there a fancier word for that?
Lots of options for plant milks at Costco. When Brian went back, he didn't find any plant milks for some reason.
I hope it wasn't just me. There wasn't any.
They were probably there. He just didn't find them. So
I can hear you.
You got your almond milk, you got your oat milk, you got your most often soy. Sometimes soy is what we usually buy of the shelf-stable milks, and sometimes we can't find it there. But there's always other options. And in the last few years, we've noticed in the refrigerated section a couple different options. Always more cost-effective from Costco as well. And even with refrigerated plant milks, we found that the expiries for them are usually longer than expiry dates for cow's milk. So that 3-pack of milk that's in the refrigerator we'll be able to get through. And the shelf-stable ones are fantastic because there's no rush to get through them. We like soy or oat milks generally. And the shelf-stable soy milk at Costco is great because it's really thick, so it's great in all kinds of different recipe applications, and it's good for me for recipe testing. If you're making breads and you need to like make a vegan buttermilk that'll curdle well, that soy milk curdles really well. Almond milk, the Kirkland almond milk, we typically avoid. It's a little thin, we don't love it.
It's a little watery, doesn't taste very good, and it gets chunky when you add it to your coffee, which is not, you don't want to like serve someone chunky milk.
But if you love almond milk, you'll probably like it.
It maybe isn't the best brand of almond milk.
Yeah. Breads. We always get our Silver Hills
Canadian.
sprouted multigrain loaf, I think is what it is. The Silver Hills sprouted multigrain loaf.
Say that 5 times fast.
And they are a Canadian company, a family-owned Canadian company. This bread is fantastic. We immediately put it in the freezer and we just take out what we need when we need it.
It defrosts really well. You would never know that bread was frozen.
No, it's fantastic. And pretty much every time we use it in a video for one of our sandwich recipes, we get a bunch of comments asking what bread that is because it looks great and it tastes great.
Next up, we're still in the breads.
Yeah, still in breads because sometimes we do buy tortilla, naan, pita bread from there. But for those, you do have to be careful and look at the labels because oftentimes milk ingredients or butter will sneak their way into those prepackaged flatbreads.
You also need to be careful too because they sell the tortillas in like packs of 150.
So you've got to make a lot of sheet pan breakfast burritos and freeze them all.
Which we did recently.
Now, how about we go into some pantry staples?
Yeah, this is what we really do at Costco. This is where we really make the money.
Or spend money. Nuts.
Or save money. It all depends on perspective.
Exactly. So the nuts from Costco, that's where we get all of our nuts, and they are the most expensive thing that we buy from there. But considering we don't buy meat, fish, cheese, nuts are the most expensive protein source that we buy because beans, pulses, seeds are very inexpensive typically.
But you priced it out recently, and per pound or per 100 kilograms, the nuts from Costco, 100 grams, are still kilograms. That's a lot of nuts. But per whatever, it's still cheaper from Costco. You just have to pay more sort of up front.
So if you compare the price per 100 grams of the Costco nuts compared to the bulk store or a local grocery store, we always still find savings with Costco. If you can get them on sale from your bulk store, if you don't have a Costco membership, then there's still ways to save on buying your nuts. But if you do have that wholesale membership, then typically we have found it's most cost effective there. We always buy walnuts. That's what we have on our breakfast every morning. I really like cooking with walnuts. They find their way into like pasta sauces and stuff to add some savory flavor.
That kabocha squash salad you've been working on recently has got some toasted walnuts in it.
And cashews we also always have on hand, and those are great to blend down into sauces like pasta sauces, into cheeses, other sorts of dressings and sauces. Blending cashews is fantastic.
We buy those slivered or shaved almonds.
Yeah, so sometimes the shaved almonds are quite a bit lower in cost than whole almonds. So we'll get those and we kind of rotate. Usually we'll have almonds, pecans, hazelnuts. Another option depending on the time of year and what kind of recipes we're making. Oh, peanuts though are something that we used to buy from Costco, and we've actually started buying them from our local grocery store because the Costco ones are really salted, and peanuts are typically the least expensive nut. So we just started buying the roasted unsalted version from our local grocery store.
For a while, we were buying the roasted unsalted and throwing them into the old can of salted ones, and there was so much salt in there that it was just salting them to like a normal degree. So.
Yeah, you just mix them around and you can reuse that salt for like another half a year, probably.
Nut butters, since we're talking about nuts. We buy our peanut butter and our tahini. I mean, that's really it, peanut butter and tahini.
Well, we used to always buy tahini from Costco.
Oh, right, we don't anymore.
And then when we went to Vancouver Island, we couldn't find it there. And now that we're back to Ontario, I was really hoping that we'd find tahini again. And at least the couple of Costco's that we've been to, they're closest to us, we haven't found tahini.
No, but they do have almond butter. We just typically don't buy almond butter.
Yeah, so there's usually quite a few nut butter options. We typically just buy the peanut butter because it's the lowest cost and we really like peanut butter. Really like peanut butter. And hopefully our tahini will come back to Costco because, which is a sesame seed paste. Those are the two nut butters that we most often use that find their way into a lot of our cooking.
Speaking of seeds, tahini's a seed. We buy our seeds from Costco and we save a lot of money doing so.
Chia seed, flaxseed, hemp seeds, they are by far lower in cost at Costco than anywhere else we found them.
And they come in nice big bags too, so you're not really replenishing them that often.
And talking about big bags, I used to shy away from buying ground flaxseed because it's not supposed to retain as much nutrition. But the Canmar brand of the golden milled flaxseed, those are cold milled. And the process for cold milling flaxseed retains much more nutrition. So that's why they can be sold in these huge bags ground and the seeds won't go rancid. If you're also worried about buying that amount of a ground seed, then the cold milling is a way around that. So you can go ahead and buy your big bag of less expensive flaxseed. And if you bake with flax a lot, if you're making your flax eggs, then it's super handy to not have to grind it every time you use it. And we put flaxseed on our oatmeals every morning. It finds its way as a thickener into all kinds of other stuff we make. And hemp seeds, we don't always buy because they're the most expensive of the three, but we bought some this time just because we felt like it.
And we've been sprinkling it on salads and pasta salads and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, and on the topic of seeds going rancid and nuts, I always used to store my seeds and nuts in the pantry. After we did our one of our very first videos on YouTube was our pantry staples, and I showed everything that we keep in our pantry, our fridge, our freezer.
Which a lot of that is still the same today.
Yeah, it's all pretty much the same.
Check it out.
And a lot of you commented that you actually keep your seeds and nuts in the fridge. And so you convinced me, and I started keeping my seeds and nuts in the fridge, and they last so much longer if you keep them cold. So if you are like us and you eat a lot of seeds and nuts, although we go through them relatively quickly, you'll really preserve their shelf life by keeping them in the fridge if you have the space for them. That's a really handy tip. Thank all of you, wonderful community, for telling me about that and saving us having expensive hazelnuts go bad.
Yeah, you don't want that. Even our pumpkin seeds we put in the fridge.
Yeah, everything. Similarly, almond flour. Also a little bit more of an expensive item, so we keep that in the fridge. And pretty much all of our baking supplies we get at Costco. So our organic cane sugar, organic cacao, our maple syrup, which is expensive, but we're Canadian. It's just, we need to have it. And it's a fantastic natural sweetener.
It's almost the only sweetener we really use. Like, we have a little bit of cane sugar, but we don't really sweeten anything else.
Yeah, so we most often use that. We put it into like our lattes and stuff as a sweetener. The Kirkland chocolate chips are kind of accidentally dairy-free, and chocolate chips are so expensive right now, so we actually didn't buy any on this trip, but we probably will soon leading up to Christmas and baking for the holidays, but they've been pricey.
Yeah, you can't snack on them anymore.
I know. Yeah, that like sneaky, maybe nobody's looking, let me take a handful of chocolate chips. You're like, that's like a
buck.
One big baking thing that we don't usually buy at Costco is flour, like all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour, because the bags are humongous.
So we have oats almost every morning for breakfast. So oats from Costco is a game changer. It saves us a lot.
Oats are pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
The quick oats anyway, but having such a big portion is convenient so that we're not going out for a smaller bag of oats every few days. And because we have it every morning, we always make the quick oats. A lot of people don't like how mushy quick oats get, but they cook in like 3 minutes. So it's such a fast breakfast. And the nutritional differences aren't huge between quick oats and rolled oats. But if you like your rolled oats, if you like your steel cut oats, they have them all at Costco. And we always usually have the quick cooking steel cut oats on hand as well. And those cook in about 10 minutes compared to like 25-30 minutes for regular steel cut oats. So if you eat oats, you can get them at Costco.
Dried fruits. We get dried fruits from Costco. Cranberries. What else? What other dried fruits do we get?
Raisins.
Oh, raisins,
usually
right,
on
yeah.
hand.
I always forget raisins are fruits. Fruits, vegetables, learning so much today.
What do you think raisins were? Candy?
No, I just forgot that we got raisins from Costco. I knew they were a fruit.
We talked about the jewel dates, but we do always get the pitted Deglet Noor dates as well.
Right.
And we use those in our oatmeals for our baking, and we keep these like big dates for snacks because those are like luxurious dates.
You're still saving that one?
I know I am. Dried fruits, they do also usually have a ton of like dried figs, dried apricot, dried mango that all look delicious. And they're a little more expensive, so it's not something we get every time we go, but we will get them as treats every so often. And coming up around the holidays, we'll probably get like dried figs for little charcuterie boards, and they're so good. Grains, we buy our quinoa from Costco. We buy our dried pasta usually from Costco.
Yep.
They do have a ton of rice. There's a wild rice blend that we really like and we use a lot. And we don't typically buy other rice from Costco, again, because the bags are so big. And now that we have more space, we'll do that. And if you're someone who eats rice a lot, then you get that from Costco.
It's definitely worth it.
Sometimes they do have big bags of dried beans or lentils, and they actually did on this trip.
They had chickpeas as well, which we had never seen before.
No, I don't think we've seen on Costco online. You can usually buy big bags of even more beans. Sometimes there'll be pinto beans and kidney beans, but we don't see them in store that often. But if we do, then we usually pick them up. And these big bags of beans and pulses, your lentils, are typically pretty inexpensive at local grocery stores, so you can get them there too, but if we find them at Costco, then we grab them. Something we don't buy from Costco, though, in this category is canned beans and even canned tomatoes. A lot of the times we save those for our local grocery store because they go on sale so often. And when you compare the price of those canned options, typically the sale price at the grocery store is less than the Costco price.
Yeah. We do tend to pick up a few jarred items though, like olives, pickles, sun-dried tomatoes, those sorts of things from
Artichokes.
Costco.
Artichoke hearts.
Because we don't go through them that much, but it is a better deal, and then they just sort of sit in the fridge as we need them. We do get our oils and vinegars from Costco as well.
Again, lower in cost. So this trip we picked up a big jug of organic apple cider vinegar. That's usually not too pricey from a local grocery store, but again, good quality organic product that's inexpensive here. We usually get our cold pressed extra virgin olive oil from Costco as well. We don't cook with a ton of oil, but if we do, then we've got it from there. And we usually have canola oil on hand for baking, and typically I just get that at the grocery store because we don't use it a lot, and it's usually a lot less expensive than an olive oil.
So we get our soy sauce and our tamari.
We didn't really see any on this trip,
No.
but we didn't take video of it. They often have like vegan mayonnaise and some other vegan like plant-based sauces that might be a good buy for you.
Good convenience option.
Yeah, like we've got in the habit of making pretty much all of our own sauces, dressings from just things like tofu, like cashews, using our Pantry Staples, our spices. So we don't buy those, but they are there as an option. We always buy soy sauce or tamari. Before we were plant-based, we would only ever use that if we we were making an Asian-inspired dish, but as a plant-based eater, soy sauce finds its way into almost everything as a big umami flavor boost. It gives that saltiness, that savoriness to a lot of dishes, so we get it from there.
Especially if we're not really making a recipe and we're just winging it.
Oh yeah, if you're like, oh, this like soup's a little bland, put some soy sauce in it. Or peanut butter. Like your problem's fixed.
That's your genius cooking tip. It's just like needs a little soy sauce.
Miso paste, soy sauce, those salty, savory condiments.
We get our miso paste from Costco. No,
we do get our vegetable bouillon.
Oh, that's what I'm confusing. Yeah. And we did buy it this last time.
So we've talked about that vegetable bouillon a few times. We usually make our own vegetable broth from our frozen veggie scraps. As a backup, we always have this vegetable-based bouillon paste in the fridge.
And it lasts forever.
And that brand, the Better Than Bouillon brand, has a no beef and a no chicken broth too, but I've never seen those at Costco, just the vegetable one.
Come on, Costco.
But it's still really good.
But speaking of spices, we get our spices now from Costco. We didn't used to, I don't think originally, but
not really, because before we were plant-based, we didn't use very many spices. It was like
get your oregano,
your garlic.
Now look at us: paprika, smoked paprika, turmeric,
curry powders,
coriander, nutmeg. Allspice.
Once we went plant-based, all of a sudden our spice cabinet got a lot bigger, and it sort of opened up our eyes to all kinds of different flavors, different types of cuisines. And spices are your friend for making plant-based food really flavorful. So this is a great wall to take a look at because they're all pretty much plant-based because they're spices. Some of them might have a milk powder or something in them depending on what it is. Your ones that you go through a lot, like your garlics and your salts, and we use smoked paprika or cinnamon, always the big ones because we'll go through it.
Cinnamon, nutmeg. Let us know what spices you're getting from Costco. Recently, we've been picking up the everything bagel seasoning, and we've been sprinkling it on like kind of surprising stuff, like some pasta even, and it's been kind of fun.
There's a few of those. Everything bagel's a good one. I think Costco has one that's like a sesame crisp or something like that. Cool. That's again like more Asian inspired spices all together. Those are fantastic ways to get some extra diversity into your meals. All of a sudden you've just thrown like 7 different seeds onto your whatever you've made or into your breads or anything like that. It is just a huge flavor bomb with basically no effort. We have to go back to work and there's just a little bit more that we have to tell you. So to be continued.
We're back. And it's darker, but that's okay.
Yeah, we wanted to end with just talking about all the things that we used to buy at Costco and we don't anymore, and why, and just sort of wrap this all up for you. So one thing that we did buy on this trip that we used to buy, but we actually bought it this time because we just moved into our house and needed some more convenience things, were these Dr. Praeger's burgers. These are veggie burgers with something like 9 different types of vegetables. They're gluten-free, and we used to buy them and sometimes not even have them as burgers, just kind of, you're very busy over here.
Sorry. Yeah, we used to buy them as burgers. I'm following. And we crumbled them over bowls. Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah, sometimes we would just have them almost like falafel and just kind of crumble them up or break them up on like a power bowl. This day, they did have Beyond Burgers as well. We've had those at restaurants, but we've actually never bought Beyond products.
No.
We've seen them at Costco maybe for the last 2 or 3 years. They've had them, which is really great that that's an option there. So the Dr. Praeger's were actually a little more expensive than the Beyond Burgers, but there's more in a pack. 12 instead of 8. So we opted for those. We do buy snacks and we have snacks and we have convenience options every so often, but we've toyed with doing a Costco video before and making it more like a comparison video of what we used to buy and what we now make at home that's replaced those store-bought options. Just sort of a comparison for how much we've been able to save with making some of these things at home. There's nothing wrong with these convenience options. When we first transitioned to a plant-based diet, we relied a lot more on the prepackaged items at Costco. The faux meats, all the faux cheeses, the dairy-free cheese. Our diet to begin with back then had more processed foods in it. When we transitioned to a plant-based diet, it was because the easiest thing to do was just to replace what we were eating with a vegan or a plant-based version of it. So cookies, like store-bought cookies, granola bars, crackers, and then again the vegan burgers for regular burgers, vegan cheese for regular cheese. We used to buy Cliff bars, the Made Good bars, there's the cashew bars, the Kirkland granola bars, all of those options, most of them are plant-based.
Or have a plant-based version.
The R.W. Garcia crackers, they have beet crackers, sweet potato crackers, and the jalapeno flavor that if you saw our road trip video when we moved from BC to Ontario recently, Brian got the hiccups from the bit of spice from the jalapeno.
I got the hiccups, they're so hot.
And then the other things we get were like a packaged trail mix and cereals and granolas. We still usually have one box of cereal in the house for like late night snack if we can't keep our fast going until the morning.
But not very much of that anymore, and pretty much everything's homemade.
Yeah, so these products, they pretty much made up the majority of our breakfast, sometimes our lunch, and like our snacks, and maybe dinner was homemade before we were plant-based. And when we were new to being plant-based, it took us a little while to get more used to grocery shopping differently and making some more food at home. If we bought raw nuts, seeds, oats, dried fruit, we could make a lot of these things ourselves. A hesitation that we had was it seemed like it would be way more expensive to just buy all of those ingredients and then have to make things from them, as opposed to just buying the $12.99 granolas here and the $9.99 box of crackers there and the $13.99 this and that. But if you've been watching for a while, then you know that I started using a free website called cookkeepbook.com. We're not sponsored by them or anything, but I'm able to input all of my ingredients and what I paid for them and then build my recipes on this website. And when I enter the quantity of the ingredient that I've used, the website calculates my recipe cost based on the quantities of the ingredients that I've input. And that's when we started realizing that we were actually saving quite a bit of money by buying all of the individual ingredients and making things at home. And that's honestly when we started Tasty, Thrifty, Timely. We had realized that we were feeling better eating the food that we were making at home. It wasn't taking us a ton of time. It wasn't super difficult.
And it was fun.
Yeah, we were enjoying the food. It was fun. And we were actually saving some money. You do need the time to cook at home, and we realize that that's not possible for everyone. It's just the two of us. We're both predominantly working from home since the pandemic, so it is a lot easier to spend that time on preparing meals. But if you have some time to try some recipes, you've been wanting to make more from scratch, but you haven't known where to start, or you've been thinking it's going to be more expensive, then you might be surprised by how easy some things are to make, how much you enjoy them, and how cost effective they might end up being. So even following a predominantly whole food, plant-based diet, Costco or a similar wholesale membership kind of store, I think Sam's is another one in the States, maybe.
Is Trader Joe's one too, or can you just walk in?
I think you can just walk in. I don't think you need a membership for that. A lot of people say it's great.
Albi?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know if that's
Leave your comments below, let us know.
Put your comments down below if you've had the same experience, if you think that these wholesale stores are worth it for your diet. If you aren't very close to a Costco, or maybe don't have access to a vehicle, you can order online. The prices are more expensive online. That's also a convenient option, but if you're looking at prices online, usually they're maybe $2 or $3 or more cheaper inside the store.
Next week's gonna be all the ways you use lentils in a week.
You guys really liked when we did all the ways I use chickpeas in a week video, and I showed kind of when I make a batch of chickpeas from scratch, all the things I end up making from it. Lentils are a little different. I don't usually make like a huge batch of lentils in the week, but we use lentils a lot. So I'll show you an example of all the ways that I use them in a week, and they're so inexpensive.
Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share. Let us know if you are a Costco wholesaler and if you eat the samples.